Alright, Shalom Akim. I like to say Kal Halayim, Wahawadla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Right, double honor to the apostles and the others of great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessing to the Hakim around the world that pushes through to the four corners of the earth. Bright days, brother Yaraba. I say I'll do a short touch. I'll entitle it Humility Equals Growth. Right, because we know in this truth, being humble is a serious thing. Right, is one of the requirements of a man of the Lord, and even women. Right, you had to be humble. That's how you be able to understand these scriptures. You understand? That's how the Lord is actually able to deal with you, because the Lord don't deal with the proud. The scriptures say that is when what that is in Ecclesiasticus. It say pride is the beginning of sin, right? Ecclesiasticus 10:12, it said the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. Right? It said, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that had it shall pour out abomination, and therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities, and overthrew them overthrew them utterly. And that shows you that what the Lord don't deal with proud. Right? And pride is the opposite to what? Humility. The Lord is deal with the humble. And humility is actually what will show your growth. Humility does show your growth. And true humility is how you does grow. You understand? A man can't grow in his spirit if he's not humble. And even when a man is growing in his spirit, you will actually see his level of humility. You understand? You'll see like the things that he do, the way that he operates. You know, certain things you'll see he'll deal with matters differently. All of these different things is signs of what growth. And you can't be able to fully, get to that level of growth without humility. Because you'll see it as certain brothers, whereas, when they start to grow, knowledge will start to get to the head. Sometimes if you're correcting them about certain things, they have a problem. You understand? All these different issues that men does actually have, and that is because of what? Lack of humility. The growing in knowledge, but they're not being humble to actually deal with the knowledge how they're supposed to. Right? And eventually, because of that, the Lord does cast them away. It said in James 4, I'll start from 5, right? It say, do ye think that the scriptures say it in vain? The spirit that dwelleth in us lusted to envy. You understand? And that is a big obstacle. When you start to reach that certain knowledgeable level, you'll start to think highly of yourself. You understand? That is why the Lord has had to put us through all these afflictions. Why? To keep us at a humble state. Right? So that you wouldn't exalt yourself above that you're supposed to. Because you're not supposed to exalt yourself, you're supposed to exalt the Lord. The scriptures say, just paraphrasing, it says, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles. You understand? Verse 6 it says, but he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, the Most High resisted the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. And that is who the Lord does deal with. Even when you look at the lifestyle of the prophets, they were men who had comfortable lives. Some of them had, high positions, and he bring them down to naught, to men just roaming about preaching like madmen. You understand? They were taken from that high state or that comfortable state, and they were brought low. And the reward for that is what? Knowledge, and eventually the kingdom. So there's Ecclesiasticus 3, I'll start from 17, right? It say, my son, go on with thy business in meekness. And meekness is what? Humbleness, humility. It says, so shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved, which is who? The Most High, right? Through his son. The Most High name is Yahweh in Hebrew, and his son name is Yahweh Shai in Hebrew. That says be beloved of the Most High. Even when you look at the scripture with Yahweh Shai and Mashiach, when it said The scripture said, it say, this is my son in whom I am well pleased. You understand? Because the Son of Man came what? Meek, riding on an ass. He also lived humbly. He was afflicted and he took his affliction and all of these different things that show humility. Right? It say, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. And like I was saying before, the more you grow is the more humble you have to become. Because I remember, as I always say this, my brother once told me, he say, the older you get in the truth, is the more subtle the spirit is a song in your head. You understand? It always has, as the more you level up, is the more trials he has had to go through, and is the strongest spirits that is try to get it to go off. You understand? So the trial is only get more difficult the stronger you get. So he has had to be meek, he has had to be humble, so that the Lord will always keep working with you and deliver you from those evils. Because you don't want to fall into the hands of those spirits. They don't seek your best interests. Right? So the more you go up, the more you grow, the more you learn, is the more humble you have to be. You always have to remember that this knowledge is not yours. This was given to you by the Most High. You understand? This knowledge is not yours. Don't think too highly of yourself. As the scriptures talk about that is in Romans 12, I think it's 3. Romans 12 verse 3, it says, for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, it said not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think sober, right? Have a clear mind. It say, according as the Most High had dealt to every man the measure of faith. And that is the kind of mindset you gotta have. Don't say, well, because I could break down things better than this one, or I understand these things that you don't. No, it's the Lord give it and the Lord take it away. You have nothing special about you that you could say that you're above, or that you're supposed to have that kind of superior mindset. Now, you're superior to Esau, and still, even though you're superior to Esau, you gotta have a kind of humble behavior while in his kingdom. Because the scriptures talk about those who would not bend their neck to the yoke of Babylon. So even while being here, knowing that you might be above other nations and so forth, you still had to keep a humble composure. Humility is a serious thing, right? Say, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord, right? That is how you find favor before the Lord. It say, many are in high place and of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto who? The meek. These pastors who you will see, they don't have a humble spirit. That pastor's telling people, I want to have my own plane because I don't want to sit down with sinners before I go to a service. But then Yahweh used to sit down with Republicans and thieves and so forth. Just paraphrasing. You understand? He used to sit down with Republicans and sinners. But these pastors think that they're above that. And that is not a humble spirit. That is sure the Lord not dealing with them. And when you listen to the things that they say, or the things that they teach, the Lord not dealing with them. The Lord is dealing with who? The humble. The humble in spirit. Right? It says verse 20, it says, for the power of the Lord is great, and he is honored of the lowly. And it's only the lowly that is given true reverence. It's only the lowly that is seek him. Because when you're not humble, you start to think of yourself as if you is something important, or if the knowledge coming from you, or if you is this big whatever, and you'll stop giving the Lord his honor. You wouldn't be giving the Lord any honor. You'll be giving yourself the honor. Like, I figured this out, or I so smart, or I teaching this. No. It's the Lord that actually doing these things through us. There's nothing special about us that we could say pertain to teaching this. You understand? This is a gift that was given. And we can't say we're special for receiving it, because any one of Israel could have had it. You always had a humble mindset. Right? And when it comes to things like, correction or anything like that, you always had a humble mindset. Don't think that you're above these things. Right? Let's say there 2 Corinthians 12. I'll start from um 2 Corinthians 12. I'll start from 5. Right? It say, of such and one will I glory. It say, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities. So he didn't used to glory in himself. He didn't used to exalt himself and like, hey, I's an apostle, so yada, even though he wasn't having that kind of high-mindedness towards himself. You understand? He was just doing his job. Right? It say for though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool. And that is how a lot of men there's become fools. Why? Because they want to glory in something that they are not doing, in something that they have no control over, in something that the Lord could take away from them in a second. Right? It say, for I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he hear it of me. So he was even concerned about how he look in the sight of others. You understand? It say, unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of my revelations, meaning the amount of things that he didn't know. Okay, the scriptures talk about, about Paul, writing about things being hard to be understood. He was of one of the highest, right, back in that time. Right? Abundance of my revelations, say, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh. So he had some problem in the flesh. It said, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. And you'll see brothers just go through that constantly. Even though brothers might have normal afflictions with finance or whatever, sometimes they also have afflictions in the flesh. Whatever diseases or infirmities. And that is what? That is to keep your mind humble, so that you wouldn't exalt yourself above measure. You wouldn't think too highly of yourself. And that things that the Lord has put in place to actually protect his men. You understand? The ones that are done for the Lord has actually put that in place to protect them. Because if they didn't have these things, and everybody was, top of the line, straight healthy, and nothing wasn't going on with them, and they had all this knowledge, and they had a set of money, they would have go off eventually. They'll start to exalt themselves, and then the Lord will have to cast them away. So these are the things that has had to happen to us to keep us on a humble level, the same way it used to happen to them. Right? Verse 8, it says, for this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. So he was praying to the Lord. He said, here going on, I not for this. He was praying, asking the Lord, hey, get rid of this, please. I'm not for this. And what did the Lord tell him? 3 times. 3 times he was praying to the Lord, and the Lord remove it. He said, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. So the Lord tell him, hey, you had to deal with that. You understand? And you'll see that my brothers go through similar things. That's certain. Like a brother do a video once, and he did a video, and a video entitled, I believe that was Yahushua is coming back, from the page. And he did a video, I think it was entitled, why is your prayers not being answered? And he was explaining that certain things you just have to go through. It's not every time you pray for something the Lord will just take it away. It has certain things that the Lord will remove, but it has certain things that he wants you to go through. And you praying to get rid of it is not going to change that. And he made a very good point. It has certain things that you would pray for and it would go away, but there are certain afflictions that the Lord ordained for you, and you had to deal with it as it come. You understand? And all of these things is to do what? Is sometimes to keep you humble, or it's just a trial that you have to go through, or a punishment that you have to face, or it could be all of the above. The Lord does work in mysterious ways. Right? But the main point we're talking about is, being humble. A lot of these things just happen to us. Why? Is to keep us in that humble state of mind. Right? Right. Made perfect in weakness. It says, most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Mashiach may rest upon me. Because if you didn't have infirmities to glory on, you might have glory on yourself. And you know what would happen after that? Say pride is what? Pride is when one departed from the Most High. It's the beginning of sin, as you read earlier. It says, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distress, for Mashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Because he's not relying on his own strength. He's relying on the strength of the Lord. You understand? So, I said I'll go through a few scriptures, talking about, humility. Humility is really one of the biggest things that you had to have in this truth. You had to know the name of the Lord and his Son. You had to have the proper understanding of the doctrine. You had to have humility for the Lord to actually deal with you. Because the Lord don't deal with the humble, the proud. He resists the proud, but he gives grace unto the humble. You understand? Humility is also a very big stepping stone and a big stumbling block for a lot. You have men, they are not, even though they might think they're humble or they might say they're humble, they're not. When it comes to things like correction, reproof, and all these different things, they don't deal with it according to a humble state of mind. And these are things that you just have to pray for and always work on. That the Lord will always continue to deal with you. Right? So I hope it was edifying to anybody that listened. With that, I'd like to say Kal Halayim, Wahawallah, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders some great mothers who not rule well. Peace and blessing to the Akim around the world that push this truth to the four corners of the earth. Right? This is Yarabah saying Shalom, Akim, stay strong.